So Starlink is now out, and you can get it on any platform you want, PS4, Xbox One, or Switch. Of course, the Switch has the Arwing that everybody is going crazy over right now because, I mean, let's face it, it's pretty awesome to be able to go pick up an Arwing and use Star Fox in the game. It's pretty cool. I'm working on a review for it, and that'll be coming out hopefully over the weekend. But until then, I saw some people actually ask about these toy-to-life things and how they're exactly working. I've seen some other YouTubers and other people on Twitter just outright asking, how does this even work? Is it using NFC? What's going on here? So I figure, well, let's answer that question. Let's take a look at it and see some of the cool little features that people may have not realized yet with this thing, and some of the attention to detail Ubisoft actually put into a Toys to Life thing like this. This is definitely a bit more sophisticated than something like Skylanders in all the little things you can attach and build onto. So let's take the Arwing apart. Okay, so here are with the Arwing, and then we have our controller grip. Now, the grip is how everything gets to the Joy-Con controllers. I was initially under the impression that it was going to use NFC technology, as I think a lot of people did, considering that's how Amiibos work. We kind of saw these things as kind of like Amiibos. Well, it actually works through the Joy-Con, so this grip serves an actual purpose, not just there just so you can mount the ship above your controller setup. When you click that in, there's actually a setup there for you, so it'll read similar to what's already in the Switch so that it clicks in, and now the Joy-Con is actually communicating to this base, which includes your pilot here. And we did take the pilot apart during the unboxing, and it has, in particular, a little chip here, and that just has the data for the pilot and what it is exactly that you're plugging in. So in this case, we have Fox. When we slide him in there and it clicks in, it'll tell the system that we are using Fox as our pilot. And of course, if you put a different pilot in, it can actually scan that in real time, and everything just kind of works together pretty well. And it's actually using, essentially, chip and then socket. Kind of similar to if you think about like any cartridge-based systems you have, more along the lines, I would even say, of like an N64 or Super Nintendo, how those cartridges kind of slide into their pin sets. That's basically how that's working. You can even kind of, if you plug it in, you can even kind of feel it. And it kind of reminds me of that, which was pretty funny. So now we know how this works, how our Joy-Cons can communicate to it. But then, of course, we get to this spot, which is another pin set that is set up specifically for your ship, which just brings us to the Arwing. Now, there's some pretty cool things going on here with the Arwing, to be honest, because you can actually do things like take the weapon off and actually flip it around, and it'll show up like that in the game, pointing this way. Now, the weapons are actually the easiest ones to figure out because they have traces, but they're only on one side of the chip in there. So, of course, it knows which way it's facing by which side is activated in the pin slot in here. So that's pretty straightforward how it can tell, okay, the right is activated, that means it's facing forward. The left is activated, okay, that means it's facing backwards. And yeah, it'll show up like that. So it'll work for any weapon you want, and I guess it'll shoot backwards as a homing missile, so that won't really matter as much, but it'll sort of shoot backwards, I guess. So, you know, think ahead and you can, I guess, take people out behind you. But the wings will actually come off as well. These are a bit more sophisticated in here. They have several times more traces than these weapons. And that's because more information has to go through here. So similar to this, you can pull this one off as well, and you just have no wings. It'll show up like that. What's really funny, though, is you can take these wings, and you can actually take this set as well and actually attach that. So you can have all of these wings and weapons and stuff going crazy, and it'll actually show up like that in the game. So these are a bit more sophisticated because they have accounted for that, which is kind of funny to think about. So I guess if you have two Arwings that you have purchased, and you can have all these crazy wings kind of coming off the side here, and if you build it and then drop it on there, it'll look like that in game. Seriously, they took a lot of time with that. It's kind of neat to see all these little customization things to that degree. So now we have all that figured out, where you can do all this crazy stuff. I guess let's take this main base apart, actually, and see how that's happening, because it looks like they have a socket here, well, a chip here that goes into the socket, and then, of course, they have them around here. But I'm curious how this all kind of comes together in here, and honestly, the screws are right here, so it's pretty straightforward. It's actually attached here pretty well at the nose. It's actually kind of sealed up that way, because there's no screws really holding that together from what I can tell. But we can see in here pretty well that there is a straight circuit board there. Let's see. It looks like that's, oh, they have a little LED on the back too. So if you're using this, you've probably noticed that the back actually lights up blue, like it actually has like propulsion here. It actually lights up blue. It looks like they just have a nice little LED there that gets power as everything is going through. And then on the bottom, we can actually see the full setup here of the chip on the bottom. And it's pretty interesting the way they're doing this. It's really just a lot of, oh, they even have like writing and everything here. To the mount, Gemini ship vertical version A4760, April 26, 2018. So there you go. I guess they actually have like a production date on that too, in April. I guess that this guy was made, at least these chips were made. They have another okay, so they do have screws here to at least support this. That's why it's actually so like solid. But yeah, basically the way this is all set up, it's just a bunch of sockets and then traces on board. And that's how it all works out. It's basically, I mean, you could technically think about it like a bunch of cartridges going together to make this all work together. And it's very fast. In real time, it's very quick to detect what's on it and how it's all kind of coming together. So it's pretty cool to see how that all works. But they definitely had some attention to detail with everything if you really sit down and look at it, where it can detect when things are on backwards and forwards. And the Toys to Life thing is kind of weird, but they definitely spent a lot of time trying to make everything at least customizable and work together. And that's kind of neat. That is kind of cool. Is it fun that you have to collect all this stuff? Not really. But I mean, I guess the idea is pretty cool when you look at how they made it all work together. Let me take a look, actually. You know what, real quick, let's take a look at one of these wings, too, now I'm thinking about it, because there's only a few screws holding this guy together, too, and we can look at it. And drum roll, it's another board. Again, board with, yep, so we have the socket here that it runs to that appears to just be completely soldered, and then the chip here identifying that board. What's interesting, though, I guess in production, they decided to put arrows, so everyone knew which way this was supposed to go, because if this was upside down, of course the wing would appear to be going in the wrong direction from when you plug it in. So I guess if you ever get one that's malfunctioning like that, it's because they messed up and put it the wrong way, which I'm sure there's probably one of them out there and people are going to be confused and not sure what's going on. So yeah, I guess if you get one like that that's like going the wrong way, just take it back and return it. The board's, I guess, upside down. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Toys to Life Starlink Arwing and how it works on the Switch. Again, it's going to be, these toys are going to be very similar across the board. Obviously, you can pretty much use them on any system, although I don't think Star Fox and the Arwing will work on another platform, but like the other ones should, like if you just go into the store and buy them. But that's pretty much how it's going to work. It's just going to differentiate, or different between these connections to how they connect to the controller. The PS4, Xbox One are a little more straightforward as they pretty much plug into the controller straight up, whereas this one, they kind of slide the Joy-Cons on, and that's how that works. Again, the NFC thing probably threw a lot of people, threw me off too at first, because that's what I thought we were going to get, but no, it's all hardwired, all hard plugged in. That's how these things can change so quickly in real time when you start popping them off and putting them on. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at the Arwing and the Star Fox or the Toys to Life stuff for Starlink. Make sure you guys like the video if you liked it, and get subscribed for all gaming news and technology breakdowns like these, and I'll see you guys in the next video.